Hi guys, my name is Bernardo Herzer. I go to the University of Southern California and I'm on the men's water polo team. Some of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten are from current and former Olympians in the sport. If it's all right, I'm going to mention Merrill Moses. He is a 5-time Olympian in the sport and he currently coaches at Pepperdine Water Polo. Growing up, he gave me a great piece of advice that was, don't be afraid to be different from everybody else. Don't be afraid to train differently. Don't be afraid to stand out. Stay afterwards if you need the time. And I feel like that's always been a really, really important way to step forward and increase your success in the sport. In training at this level, I would say that the most important thing is to be aware of what you need. Once you've reached this level collegiately, you understand what your own strengths and weaknesses are. And being able to be vulnerable with yourself and understand what your weaknesses are and practicing and trying to improve on those is going to be an absolute key player to improving yourself overall. One of the big things that was a transition for me between high school and college was the difference between weight room programs. In high school, I didn't have much of a weight room program. I was kind of lifting on my own a little bit. In college, there was a big emphasis on having a routine in the weight room and doing movements outside of the pool that are going to help your speed, help your movement inside the pool. That was absolutely a big difference for me. Some of the challenges that I've faced, I would say one of the really big ones here is COVID. During COVID, all of the pools in California were shut down, and I was very fortunate to be able to actually go abroad. I spent a semester in Barcelona, Spain. I lived at a tennis academy, and I trained with semi-professional teams in Spain during the time that all of the pools were closed here in California. That experience really was life-changing. In high school, I really enjoyed the sport and had a passion for it. And when that was kind of taken away from the COVID pandemic, and I really realized that I wanted to continue to pursue it, and that's when I kind of made this radical change to go to Spain. Secondary, that showed collegiate coaches that I was dedicated and that I really wanted it. Not that many people were willing to have such a big and radical change to continue to play their sport and to continue to develop. For water polo, recruitment begins, I believe, your sophomore year, towards the end, could be junior year now. I know the rules change. I didn't go to the most prestigious high school. I went to Miracosta High School. The water polo program there at the time was in Division II. I came in as the 5th goalie on the team, and there were some pretty high-level players ahead of me, so there was definitely some challenges. I was able to play on the junior varsity team my freshman year with aspirations to make varsity as soon as possible. And as soon as I made varsity my sophomore year, I started to really try to dominate that position in goalkeeper, and then I started to get ahead on the film aspect, having film sent to coaches, having film available for people to watch, and I feel like that was a big booster for me in terms of recruiting. Water polo is sometimes a tricky sport to film. I had my dad definitely film a lot for me, and then whenever it was able, I was using Huddle, watching the rewinds of our own games, and then creating my own clips out of Huddle. So that first day that recruiting was allowed for our class, I was very fortunate to receive a call from the recruiting director at USC, and I continued to work with him and a few other schools during that process. I ended up taking one official visit to USC during my time in my junior year, and I actually committed to USC during my junior year. So committed a little bit early. I believe the statistic was I was one of the first 2% to commit in my class, and I feel like I always had wanted to stay close to home and really compete for a national championship. So that's how I knew that USC was the choice for me. USC is just such a family. They create such an amazing environment in terms of the people around you, the education, and the balance between competing for a national championship and also pursuing the highest level of degree that you can attain. During my time at USC, I've been under the guidance of goalie coach Marco Pintarek. He's been amazing and has led many different collegiate athletes into Olympians or formed them into Olympians. So I would say some of the tricks and tips that he's given me are mental strength when in the cage, and always being aware of everything around you, not just the goalkeeping position. Being first team all tournament was an absolute honor this last year, And I would say that the biggest thing coming into this tournament, it was my second NCAA tournament so far in my collegiate career. And I just really came in with the mentality that I wanted to dominate. I did that by firing up my team when I could, by getting saves in key moments, by trying to direct my defense, and really being a presence in the cage that my team needed. Just a side note, I think that setting goals is super important in terms of career aspirations in general. For myself personally, I'm working to get my master's degree at USC now. I redshirted my freshman year, so I still currently have 2 years of eligibility left. And during those 2 years of eligibility, I will be getting my master's degree in entrepreneurship and innovation. And secondly, one of my aspirations is to make the 2028 Olympic Games. This last summer, I was in Singapore competing in the World Aquatics World Championships with Team USA, and I hope to continue working with Team USA towards the 2028 Olympic goal. So a little bit of backstory, I started working with Team USA throughout my youth, throughout age group. Olympic development programs have always been kind of a part of water polo in general, attending these big clinics, going through the age group ranks. And more recently, as I've aged out of those, I've been able and very fortunate to play with the youth teams and now the senior team. And that has been an absolute honor. And I'm learning more and more about the balance between playing collegiately and then stepping up to the next level, playing internationally. Balance is key. And I hope that all coaches that players talk with during the recruiting process emphasize that the education is just as important as the goal of winning a national championship. For me personally, I think the biggest thing that I could pass on would be to take the education side and the balance into your own hands. For me, that looked like taking maybe a class that was a little bit more challenging, but that class counted for double the amount of credits. So right now I'm in a position to graduate early from USC, and that's why I'm able to get my master's degree. Just by being proactive in my search for courses, being proactive in my scheduling, and working with the people that want to help you in terms of advising. I'm going to start off with water polo is definitely not the biggest money generating or revenue generating sport. So NIL can be a little bit tougher for water polo. But I definitely like to use influencer for all of the media that they provide us with. And then secondarily, I've definitely been able to source a few, I would say less than 5 deals on influencer so far. But I hope that I will continue to work with people on the platform and that as I get these opportunities that more will open up. I would say that I would definitely want to work with maybe a bigger brand like Yeti or somebody that could provide us as a team with hydration and bottles for on deck. I think that would be one of the biggest things. I think the biggest piece of advice is it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard, but make sure that you're always having fun. Throughout times in my career, from where I've gotten to now, there have been times where maybe I've gotten a little bit caught up in the sport, a little bit caught up in a tournament or a training or something going on. Always remember to take a step back and have fun with the people around you, the people that are going through this difficult training, this difficult tournament with you. And then that way you're always able to push through and really attain your goal. Hi, my name is Bernardo Herzer. I go to the University of Southern California and I play water polo.